Oh, God, I can't spend eternity here. This place, it reeks of fish and cat piss. What is this? Knotty Pine!
The Black Fat Femme Podcast is a production of iHeartRadio and DoctorJonPaul, LLC. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Black Fat Femme Podcast, where all the intersections of identity are celebrated. I am one of your hosts, John, also known as Dr. John Paul. And you heard it at the top of the show. What you heard is not only the one and only Jessica Lange giving us an iconic performance as Fiona Good in American Horror Story. Mama had it. She had reached her peak in that moment. She said, so for y'all, for those who don't get the reference, in her season, Mama was sent to hell for all the shit she's done. And it's not lost on me that her name was Fiona Good, even though she was the most evil person in that season of that show. But anyway, it's American Horror Story Coven. And literally, Mama was just giving the energy that I'm giving today. What is this? Knotty Pine! Because, nigga, we are in hell. This is hell. We are in literal hell. I asked folks last week if they could tell, like, if they would tell me if we were really in hell. And people, like, responded back to me and was like, how do we not know? Like, yes, nigga, we are in hell. And so today I'm just sitting with the fact.
I said, where you been?
Right. I'm sitting with the fact that Jessica Lange told us that what is this Knotty Pine? Literally, I'm going to be screaming that all weekend. What is this?
Knotty Pine.
It takes me down every time. The way she said it was just so classic. But anyway, how are you, my sis?
You know, I am that. So that was just that week, and I was like, "What the fuck did they just send me?" But also, it made me think of the episode we did with JNXD, the personal hell episode. I'm like,
yes,
this would be a good moment to bring that one back.
Yes,
for them.
Yes.
Fam, it's Jordan, aka your boo Joho, aka giving us Ray Charles today. And it
at
like
this point,
I feel like 2025, it's giving a switch up. Like I think 2025, I'm going to I'm gonna become mask. I'm gonna like I'm gonna start like playing football and shit and being like,
but then the show, how are we gonna do Black Fat Film if you a mask? How's that gonna work?
I didn't think about that, bitch. I think Damn, you got me on that one.
That's the whole concept of the show.
No, I can't. Why are you trying to limit me?
Well, I would say limit. I think you'll have to. Yeah, it'll have to be a balance. You'll have to. Not you back in your.
No. I didn't think about that, bitch. You really got me on the mind. I didn't think about that. Oh, how would I? Maybe. You know what? Maybe I'll come in with like a
Witch Queen.
Maybe I'll get like vocal surgery, and I'll be like, "Hey, yo, it's Joho, your boy Joho."
But you're still giving fam.
But I'm still giving fam. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be Butch fam. Okay, it'll be giving. It'll be who? There's a drag queen, the bearded queen. It'll be giving that.
Okay, yeah. I scream. I live for us, y'all. Today's episode is gonna be a fun episode for you today. We're gonna talk all about recapping the past year before we close out the rest of 2024. So for this week's Still Hair segment, we're gonna really honor our girl Tisha Campbell and ask, what did we really survive this year? How are we still here? Also, real quick, this is a shout out real quick. Shout out to our good friend Trevor Anderson, because I had ran into them last week at an event for National Association of Black Journalists in LA, and the singer had just popped out, and Travell started screaming and pointing at me, "Still here," and I was like, yes.
That is literally on brand for us.
It is on brand. So, but yeah. So we talk about the ways in which we survive. I know for me, I really survived. Like, oof, I don't want to get so deep with y'all, but I'm gonna get deep with y'all. I survived a really challenging friend breakup, which was really hard. Like, no one tells you friend breakups are hard. Like, friend breakups can hurt worse than like real breakups. I mean,
yes, I think they are. They are.
Friendship breakups be rough because those are people that you really think they're gonna be a rock. And this breakup really tested me. And I was worried about what the fallout might be with like surrounding friends because we did a whole friend group and we had like there's a lot of drama in the friend group and I wasn't part of this y'all. This is why you can't have gays with your friends because these gays are crazy. These gays are trying to murder me.
They really are.
But as it dragged on, it became more and more clear that like I only have a lot to fear when it came to this person. And our breakup like ended. It was a mess. It was a lot of messiness. But it ended with both of us saying like, "Listen, like I care for you, and I hope you're gonna do well. But I just know that it won't be healthy for me to be a part of that growth for you."
Yeah.
And that's
So pause. So pause. So I do have some messy. I wouldn't say I want to get into some mess, but I do have some questions.
Okay. Yes,
so my first question is this friend, or I put quotations around friend, is this the girl that you had mentioned about that story who wanted to sleep with the person that you were interested in?
First of all, me and him are not friends. Me and him are not friends.
Oh, okay. So let's clean that up.
Me and him were colleagues. Okay, me and him were colleagues.
Okay. So these are just people you know in passing.
I would never let some bum bitch get the best me like that. No.
Okay, I know that's right. Okay, so I'm just trying to. I'm asking questions for my own
No. Good question.
Because you were on the mic with
him and the other guy as well too. Let me. Don't get me started. Because the other guy was still
right.
Messy boots.
No, yeah. See, one day we're gonna start. So one day we're gonna get in our bag and we will start a Patreon, and then that'll be where we keep all of those stories. We'll keep those stories behind the actual paywall, so that way we don't get you or anybody else canceled. The other question that I have is: have I ever met this person?
You have not.
Okay, good. Okay.
No.
Because I didn't want to have to go through my socials and delete them too.
Okay, no. I mean, honestly, and I feel like if you had met them, I feel like you wouldn't have even wanted to fuck with them. Like,
I probably would have clocked them early.
For sure. Like, it's just like their energy wouldn't have been welcoming. I think. Like,
you've been like, what you're saying.
No. So,
okay. Well, good. I'm glad that you got them out of your energies.
What was it that Beyonce said? Don't give a fuck about my house and get the fuck up out my house. That's what that was.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to tell people to grab their bags and go.
Okay.
You got to hit them with the Viola Davis. You just got to grab your bag and get up and and kind of walk.
I'll scream.
Away. Sometimes it be that way. Sometimes it be that way. Sure. But I'm happy. I'll say this. So for anybody listening, and also for you, Joho, this is just a word. I made a note about this too, because as you're talking about this year, I went through the same thing last year. There was somebody who I thought I wouldn't say I was close to, but I thought I was really cool with. And then they hit me with, I don't think I want to be your friend anymore. And I was like, oh shit. Okay. So I remember that it was actually two people. So I had two people hit me with that. And it did feel a little bit it felt like a thing, but I think once you get over the hump of it, you kind of recognize like, oh, okay, maybe there was something there's something about you and your light that triggered that person to become who they are, or maybe they were just a villain at the top of the story in general. And sometimes they just needed to be removed, and so you're just making room for other people, So
now, do I know this person that you had X'd out? Do I
do you know them? No, I don't think you know. I don't think you know either one of them. Okay. One person I was introduced to through another person, and then the other person was somebody that I knew from just general, like my life working in student affairs. They were someone who had become my friend, and then over time I just started to realize that they were they were one of the people that were like feeding into kind of they were feeding into a lot of the stuff that was happening. And to be clear, they were never nice to me. I always just was like, I was always cordial to them, thinking that, oh, okay, if I'm cordial to them, then, it won't create any other tensions in any of the others, because we ran in the same spaces. And then eventually just one day I jumped in their inbox and I basically just went off and I said, you're a bum bitch. And I know what you're doing. I know what you've been doing, and you'll never be the girl you think you're going to be because of who you are. And sometimes you just got to let people know. Sometimes you just got to let the niggas know. What I will say to your point, so I appreciate you saying this, because I think there are a lot of people who are going into next year kind of reassess. It's funny because I was on threads. I saw a thread of this, of people being like, sometimes you got to clean up and clean out your space, and I've been thinking about that a lot. But what I will say, for me, what I survived outside of the friendship thing, I think it really feeds into a lot of this year. I survived just being, and I don't know how much you feel this, but I know I feel it, and I've talked to other creatives who feel this way. I feel like I survived being a creative in a really fucked up industry. And what I mean by that is, it's not even just like it was fucked up before the pandemic, and then like the pandemic hit, and then like it got even more fucked up, and then we had all of like we had basically in 2023 we had the major shutdown of like people basically protesting and marching and saying like, yo, we need to be paid, right? And then we have the actual like shutdown of the entertainment industry, and it feels like ever since everyone started talking about the strikes, more and more of like execs have become more and more awful, and the ways that the system, and when I say creative, I'm talking about movies, I'm talking about podcasting, I'm talking about just anything in the creative circle, right? I feel like there are some execs, I don't want to say all execs, because there are some really good execs, some execs who I'm really close and good friends with and have had my back, and is one of the reasons why I'm still working, right? Shout out to Will, shout out to Miles, shout out to a lot of people that I know who have been really just keeping, who've been keeping my pocket line with work. So I do want to say, like, I don't want to make a general sweeping comment that all execs are terrible, but I do feel like there are a lot of execs who were like, oh, well, if y'all are going to talk about how bad this industry is, then I'll just stay in my villain, era, and I'll make it even worse, and so I say that, I survived it. And what I mean by that is, we still have a show. Thank you, Will, for keeping our show up. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Bay, for continuing to believe in our show and continuing to keep pushing, what we're doing over here with BFF, but also like just, continuing to prosper in an industry that said, basically that doesn't want to do anything with us, right? The fact that there's so many people who are trying to eradicate DEI, and I'm still speaking, I'm still traveling, I'm still working. I'm, getting our show renewed, really even thinking about selling a book in a publishing industry that genuinely told me for 2.5, 3 years that my book would never be good enough to sell. Right. Like the bottom line is that we survived in moments, of an unintentional and intentional erasure. But it's exhausting. And I think that's the other thing I really wish we had more time. So I'll say this. I wish slash I understand the importance of wanting to get into it, but I also understand the importance of why we haven't. But I do want to say, I feel like a collective tired that many of us have, but also this collective energy of being like, we know that we can't stop anytime soon, because those in power who want to get rid of us will only get worse if we stop what we're doing, if we stop recording, if we stop posting videos, if we stop showing up, if we stop writing, right? So yeah, and then to add to that, I lost my agent.
What?
Oh yeah. There was a whole to do around, losing my agent too. So it was like, it felt like, I do want to say this without getting too deep, and I'll talk about it a little bit later on the show, but just there was a lot of loss this year for me. And finding the gumption, I think that's the right word. I've been using that word a lot these last few days. Finding the gumption to want to get up, to keep going when you constantly feel like, my God, what else? What else? But anyway, I believe with my book coming out and knowing it's going to get banned, it's making room for other great things that are will potentially come through, not only just for me, but come through for all of us. So I just kind of want to say that I think that this year has been a lot of that. It's like traversing loss in a much bigger way, and then also trying to figure out, how do I continue to find the energy to keep going in spaces and in places that are intentionally working to keep me out of it, so yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. But anyway, with that being said, we're about to jump into some fun. So we got to take a quick break, but when we get back, we will come back with some fun mess. Knotty Pine, back in a second. All right, y'all. So this week we want to go ahead and jump into this. We honestly wanted to say it's the end of the year. This will be the last episode of the year for us before we jump into new topics and new things. And so even though 2024 was a raggedy bitch, um, honestly, it feels like every year has been that. But there's still been a lot of talk about growth, not only just between us as people, but us in life, right? We all are
Mm.
becoming older, we're becoming adults. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about, and I ran this by you, Joho, and I'm so happy that you obliged and said, yes, let's jump into this. We, knowing all of the things that we've had to go through and all of the ways that we've gotten grown, the one thing that we have not talked about on the show is all of the stuff that adulting did not prepare us for. So
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to pose that question to you to just kind of talk through some of the things that you
Mm.
feel like life slash your mom or maybe even your dad or even maybe your brothers and sisters, right? Because I know some of them are older than you, like
Mm.
you. And there are a lot of people around me who were adults, and I would hear them complain about stuff, but they never sat down with me and said, look, girl, this is what it means to be an adult. And so I just, I really wanted to dig into that. So I know you have some thoughts. So I would love to kind of
Girl.
like one plus a lot
Child.
talked about, and then I'll enter my own, and then we'll
Ooh.
just keep
Oof.
between them. So tell me, what's on your mind? What are some of the things that
Okay.
life and adulting did not prepare you for?
Okay, so because the first thing, and this is not on the list right now, but like no one told me that life is ghetto. Like no one told me that life is ghetto. No one was like, girl, like my
Being an
like
adult
growing
is
up,
ghetto,
my
yeah,
like you're growing up, like my mom was always like, you live, you die, you pay taxes, and that's it. And I was like,
yeah,
hee ha ha, I get it. But no one sat me down and was like, no, but like life is and like and like not ghetto in like the fun way and like ghetto as in like ooh girl the ghetto like it's just not no one told me that life is just trash. Like not like life is trash in all ways, but just like things get harder. Your body gets more rickety and
mhm,
stuff.
yep,
People be sucking, and also no one told me that no one told me that that actually no one has it together. Like I'm out here thinking as a kid that everyone got it together. Everyone's just like being a self-sufficient, independent girl, but no, people don't have
yep,
it together. Like no one does. I mean, there are people who have it more together than others, but I wish like, everyone sat me down was like actually no one knows what they're doing. Like it wasn't until last year someone was like 20s are the teenage years of adulthood and 30s are like when you actually have like some adulthood. And I was like, oh my god, this makes so much sense because 20s felt like I was like, why do I feel like a teenager just like I'm just a teen who can drink. Like, that's really all it means to me.
really,
Like a
yes.
teen who can drink. That's
It's
really
legal for me
it.
to buy cigarettes and drink.
Exactly.
That's
That's really
it.
it. So
That's
that
it.
I also would say
Mhm.
salaries and taxes, girl. This
Yeah.
shit don't make no sense. How you gonna tell me I'm making like what 80? But how you gonna say like, oh, your salary's 80K, but you're really only getting 55K after taxes and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
But my rental application asks for my gross income. Girl,
Right.
that's gross. You ask for that because I'm not gonna like what like when they say when they say 30% debt to income ratio for housing,
Yep.
but of your gross income, that makes no sense. Like that makes no sense because
Talk about it. Talk
because
about it.
I can't like gross income. Like first of all, if we're gonna play that game, then we should have then it should be gross rent. There should be a gross rent payment because then
Right.
I should be paying a percentage of the rent. Then be like if I that is
That's
girl,
right. That's right.
like just
No, you're
how.
not wrong. And so you know what? I'm glad that we started here because I've been sitting on this for a couple of months. So a lot of people know that earlier this year, me and Jonathan started talking about wanting to buy a home. And we dived into the process. We started going through all of that. And when the man started breaking down all of this stuff, even in my head as somebody who makes, so I'm just going to be transparent. Me and my husband, between the two of us at this point in time, we make good money. We make okay money between the two of us. And when he started breaking stuff down, I was like, none of this shit makes sense. Because why do I have to make this? Why do I need to be making this amount of money to afford this mortgage
Mhm,
when I make more than what you're already saying that I need to make? Well, you also have to consider this and we have to consider that. And I'm like, nobody doesn't have no debt. Like
mhm,
there's
mhm.
nobody in this country, whether it be student loan debt, whether it be car loan debt, whether it be home, like other, past, previous, like, nobody is not carrying any debt. Medical debt, shout out to those who are dealing, you, I'm not gonna say nothing, but I will say it, right? Like shout
Uh,
out to those who feel it, right?
uh,
So I'm just saying, like, there's just so there's so many ways that, and especially when you start talking about housing. And so like there used to be a part of me that was like, I like when I was younger, I would shit on people who were houseless because, I didn't know better. But now as an adult, I sit around and I go, I understand why someone could be houseless, right? Especially if
It's so easy for it
it's
to
easy to go,
happen.
yeah, it's easy to be houseless if you're only making, and that's the thing no one talks about too. If look, so let's break it down. I'm not gonna tell people how much I make because I don't want none of y'all niggas asking me for money. But what I will say is this: if you only make $4,000 a month, take home. If like
Mhm.
your gross can be 6 or 7, but if they're
Mhm.
taxing your what you take home and you're only seeing 4,000 of that a month, and your rent is $3,000, like what the fuck? Like you
Mhm.
can't save with that.
You can't live, like, you can't eat, like, you have nothing, like, it's just like, and the world's just set up to, like, make you suffer
Yeah.
in that way,
Yeah.
which
And
is
so yeah,
really,
and then
really
so you
shitty.
lose your job because you can't save. And
Mhm.
what? You only have what, 10,000, like I mean, if you're lucky, you only have what, $5,000 to $10,000 saved.
Okay, and see, like, that's another thing, is, like, no one told me that $1,000 was actually not that much,
Well, now
the
it's not because
like, the
of
way
inflation.
I'm like, 1K? That like, not that's not that much, but, like, in the grand scheme, I'm like, "Oh my god, 1K does not even cover a bill sometimes for people."
1K
Like,
is $100 really, if you really want to talk about it as an adult.
basically just like, monopoly money. Like,
It
what are we
is.
doing out here in these
It is.
streets?
It is
Yeah,
nothing. A
and let me tell you
thousand
something real
dollars to
quick.
an adult is nothing.
Let me say something real quick about homeowning because
Mhm.
I know
You did it. You
because
did. Yes, you talk about it because
but
you actually own a home.
everyone be talking about how, oh, homeowning is the one place where your rent don't increase. That's a lie. It's a lie.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
If my rent didn't increase, why am I paying $300 more next year than I did my first year? Because
Right.
property taxes. Tax like
Yep.
when like for what? What property taxing is increasing and for what? Like what?
Yes.
I don't understand what's
Yes.
happening here. What does this even mean, girl? What
Yeah.
and why?
I
I'm
will say
literally
that's the part
gagged.
of being an adult is asking that question often. For what?
For
You're
what?
you literally are looking at bills and you're literally looking at stuff and you're going, "What the fuck is this for?" Like why this even thinking about it, like let's talk about it. I'm a DoorDash girl. I DoorDash everything. And I know it's terrible and I know it's hell. But even when you DoorDash and you look at like those fees, you're like, "What is this for? What is this
Okay.
going towards?"
And some storefronts, they charge more for on delivery than they do on
Uh-huh.
pickup, and I'm like, "For
Yeah.
why?" Like,
You're gonna get there.
you're like, "What? You're not spending this like, what is happening? Why am I paying more
Yes.
for delivery for pickup?"
Yes.
Girl, like, the whole point is that I want ease, convenience, but you're charging me $3 extra for a sausage patty? Girl, it's the same
$13.
sausage patty I get. Didn't dare I say less sausage patty. Lord knows you give me less food
And it's
take
gonna
home,
be
girl.
wrong. Your
Like,
meal is gonna be
exactly.
wrong.
What?
No matter what
Ugh.
you do, your meal is gonna be
You got me
wrong.
played. Also, let's talk
Yes.
about owning your own business.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
This
yeah, yeah,
makes
yeah, yeah.
I just to this day, like when I go to my accountant and they talk to me about like the things I could do or not do, I don't understand. Tax write-offs, I don't know what tax write-off is. I don't know how that works. Like
Neither
I need to know, can I use this money I'm
nope.
making or not? Like what do I use it? But like I can only use it for certain things.
Can I
Well,
touch it or not?
yeah, for what
Yeah.
things? Why can't I use it for like? Why can't I buy myself ice cream with it? Like what? But like I'm like this makes no sense. Like the whole point of having like a business card. I'm like, wait, so I can only use it for, and then you gotta like classify it and code it, girl. For
Yeah.
what? For
And you just
why?
reminded me I have to print out all my statements to get over to my accountant just to make sure that we don't have any problems at the top of the year. I'm gonna do that though during the break
Me
when
to me,
everything
I'm someone
settles
serious.
down.
I never save a receipt. I'm like,
No, neither do I.
I'm
I
like, receipt for what? For
That ain't got nothing
what?
to do with me.
Like, right?
Mm-mm.
I don't
I
need
will
to.
I will say that's the accountant's job. They need to figure out where that money came from. Where I spent that. That is not my job.
Get someone else to do it. Receipt
Get
for
somebody,
what,
that's what
girl?
I pay you to do, girl.
Receipt. It
That
says on the
2,400,
statement what I
right.
bought and
That
when. Why
2,400
need
a
the
quarter I
receipt
pay
for?
you to do stuff with my accounts, girl. That's between you and US Bank. That ain't got nothing to do with me. You figure
You
out.
people see what's been girly. I'm
Right.
like the
Yes.
receipt. The statement literally says Taco Bell. Why need
Amen.
to know the receipt
That ain't
from
got nothing to do
which
with me.
location it is, girl? No, it's
Yeah.
Taco Bell regardless.
All of these cards are coming out of this account. I feel you.
Like,
And I will say this too. One thing that people, I will say, I would say we used to because I'm not on Twitter anymore. But I remember when we were on Twitter, a big thing that everybody kept saying was start your own business. And you got to be your own boss. So you got to do all of that. And I
no.
always like to tell people, like, if you start your own LLC, you've got, and I've learned this. I learned this from Fran. I learned this listening to Dustin. I learned this listening to, XD, and even hearing Jade talk about it, especially being a freelancer. I think to an extent, right? I know you still do some stuff that's freelance. I
Mhm.
would say probably at this point, I would say, 50% of my income is a full-time job. The other 50% of my income is still contracts.
Mhm.
I'm like on 3 different contracts right now.
Mm.
And that money will come in, right? And people will be like, yeah, John, you make a lot of money. And I'm like, I do make a lot of money. But what you don't know is that I also pay a lot in taxes when March and April come around. And
Mhm.
so you can look at my statements and you'll see that, yes, it may look like I have money saved, but a lot of that money is a nest egg. And so I like to tell people, like, being an adult is really being smart about, the ways and why you spend. And so people even sometimes will judge me because they'll see, I have luxury stuff. And so people will be like, oh, look at John. John has something that's super luxury. And I'm like, babe, I'm like, the more like sometimes, I'm not, I mean, I could be cheaper about some of the stuff I spend. Yeah, I spend a lot of money on bags. I know it's a problem. But what I'm saying is, like, to spend $2,000 as a bag that I can gift myself as a business will in turn cost me less when it comes to tax time at the end of the year / early next year.
Mhm.
And so sometimes, and I not all the time, like Whitney said, sometimes you have to be strategic about where you're spending your money as someone who owns a business, because if you
Mhm.
don't, you'll end up spending a lot of money in taxes, and it'll end up being money that you don't end up seeing
Mhm.
spent, if that makes
Mhm.
sense.
Mhm.
You know? So
Mhm. Yeah, it's all good though. My
it's
la
it's bad.
my
It's bad.
last thing that I think no very for is just, cooking for yourself every day. Well, on an
Yeah.
8-hour workday. And
Yeah.
no one taught me time management skills in school. No adult, and now I'm like, damn, and I'm like, and then I'm like, my parents really had to get like had to do
Nigga.
all this stuff for me themselves. That is actually
Couldn't
wild.
imagine.
And they this shit has you rethink having kids. Like, I want to have kids so badly, but I'm like, wait, I have
Mm-mm.
to get
Mm-mm.
myself up, get your ass up, make you
Nope.
breakfast, take you to school, make your lunch in the process before taking you to school, then pick you up, take you home, make dinner for you, and then live my own life. Where do I
Let me tell
live?
you something. The one thing that Dr. Higgins is never doing in this lifetime is having children, because I just like the thought of, and I say this not to shit on people who have children that listen to the show. I love the thought of having kids. I think having kids would be fantastic if we lived on a different timeline. But I think right now, with everything going on, with how expensive it is, and then even thinking about this idea of like my mental health not being as stable as I would like it to be, I just think the thought of having a child on top of having to work as much as I work to keep the
Yeah,
income coming in and dealing with all the other shit I have to deal with as a black fat queer person. Nah, I'm good.
I'm good,
It
babes. I'm
couldn't be
good. No,
me.
no, not for me.
Yeah. And I tell people all the time, y'all think I'm rich. It's just I don't have no kids. I literally said it all the time. I am not rich. I just don't have children. And so that's literally what it is. Like, it may look like oh, John's floss. No, John just made a decision to not have children. And I shout out to people who do, but I have friends who have told me, to my face, like, if I could do it all over again, I would never do it. And it's just I'm glad that God gave me the alternate. He gave me everything that I needed, to like
Mhm.
demands, but he told me no
Mhm.
children will be involved with that. I said, thank you, God. Thank you, Jesus. Um, she knows, sometimes she knows what she's doing up there. For me, so these are my listings. And then we'll take a quick break, and then yeah. I put on my list the cost of towels, rugs, and other shit for your home. Let's talk about that,
Girl.
because why are rugs 70 something dollars for a small area rug?
No, okay, because of why like, be so for real, because like, why spend $300 on this like, it's a nice rug, sure, but, like, for fabric?
Hello.
It's a piece of fabric.
No
What?
fabric is 100 and something dollars if you do not buy it from a place where it's on sale. Like, all of our rugs are either from Amazon or
Mm,
from not Home Goods. What's that other one? Big Lots, because Big
mm.
Lots is really the only place that has decent stuff at a decent price. But my God,
Girl, this
Macy's.
shit expensive as fuck. No, this shit expensive as the way I
Ooh.
said like it was so sweet, but like I had this West Elm rug that
Oh,
my friend had given
I
me.
already know.
But I didn't pay for it. It was free for me. It was 500 for her, free for
Yeah,
me. And the way that I was like I don't I had to part with it recently, and I was like, I don't want to part with it because it's West
because
Elm,
I
and
know what the price. Yeah,
I'm like, it was free for me, but the principle, like, it's a raggedy, it's become a raggedy rug now, like it's ratted and stuff, and it's
but
not.
just in your
But
mind,
I
you know
was
how much
like,
it costs.
someone
Yeah,
paid 500 for this, and I didn't, and
yeah,
I don't want it, so I was like, girl, it has to go, it has to go, because
yeah,
rugs be expensive in these streets, so I
yeah.
so feel you.
I paid. So, Chris, we're gonna cut here. Chris, I need you to bleep this because I don't want people knowing how much I paid for my comforter. But I paid $190 for my comforter because I wanted a
Mm,
comforter. But
that
like
was
I
comfortable.
could have probably found a cheaper comforter, but I knew that it was from Pottery Barn and I
Mm,
had been wanting that comforter forever because of the like I had went in and I had like tested their comforters to see what other like if they had a comforter I wanted, and the weight of it and the size of it and all of that like was perfect. But then when that lady hit me with, "Oh, you have to buy a duvet cover for," and the duvet is $300, and then the insert is $500, I was like,
mm.
"My fucking God!" You know what, Chris? Keep that in because I want niggas to know that this shit is expensive. Yes, my comforter is $800, and it was because I had to pay $500 for the insert and I had to pay $300 for the fucking duvet.
Hell no.
And could I have gotten a cheaper
No.
one? Yes, but no one tells you that IKEA stuff will only take you so far. Like
Mm,
it will only last so long. It will only
period.
last so many washes. So that's the other shit no one told me about. It's just like stuff for your home, shit for your home is expensive. We all know the rising cost of food, the rising cost of everything. um the fact that especially now we live in a three-story townhome, the idea of like running your air and running your heating, like our heat is almost the same cost as our AC because it takes a lot of time to like heat up all three levels. And I work on the first floor. And so working on the first floor means it's cold, especially like now, like it's only what maybe, and again, I like to tell people who listen to the show, I know that cold is relative for people who live in Wyoming and Wisconsin and all those other places. It is California cold here. So what that means is that it's 55, 60 degrees, which means it's cold to me. And with that being said, like you're having to run your heat, you're having to run your air when it's super hot here. And it's $100, a month for gas, and $100 or $160 for lights is like, especially when you grew up in a time when all those things used to only be like $50 or $60. It's crazy. It's just crazy. It's so crazy. Just the cost of everything.
Knotty Pine. That's
Knotty
her.
Pines. Knotty Pine. Knotty Pine. Oh, you just scream that every time something don't make no sense. The other part is the moments where you have to pop off to get people to do things you want them to do. That is something I was not prepared for as an adult.
Mm.
And like, you know what I mean? Like, not necessarily always going in ready to go off on people, but like, I'm one of those people. Like I'll be in. I had a situation recently where I had to like, when you like stop and you pause and you're like, okay, look. If I ever start with my sentence with the okay, look, that means I'm at my last.
Like you have one more calm sentence for me until it escalates. No, because the
Yeah,
way like my mom is somebody who like my mom's someone who used to resort to yelling for things to happen, which I hate.
right.
But I will give her the credit of being like, if you didn't ask me the first time, I don't have to yell. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
you aren't wrong. I mean, you don't have to yell regardless, but I get your point of if you asked me the first time I did the thing, you would have to pop off.
Right.
So I'm
Right. 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 Mm-hmm.
like, don't make me look like a fool, or else I
Not
make
a
you look like a
time.
fool.
Yeah,
Like that's just how it
it's
goes.
the idea that sometimes as an adult you have to be comfortable with acting a fool with people, and that's
Okay.
the thing I had to get comfortable with as an adult. Like my husband always says this about me. He's like, you can get anybody to do anything for you, and it's like, yeah, because you have to learn how to talk to people. And I remember seeing my mom do it when I was a kid, and I would be like, why is mom always having to yell at somebody or always having to go off on somebody or always having to like check somebody? And now as an adult, I'm like, oh, I get it. I get it. Cause people like to test you and see how far they can take you. And I put in the
Mm,
note, especially when it comes to money. And then
mm,
the last thing I wanted to say too is being an adult who needs an adult. That
girl.
was something I didn't recognize, like, at 39, sometimes having to, like, call my mom or having to, like, call other friends of mine, like, I call her my godmother, my godmother Dory, who is, a little more older in age. I won't say how old she is, but she's like, I call her a godmother because there are moments in my life where I'm like, "This is not making any sense to me, and I don't really know what to do." And having to, like, wait for them to respond or give me, like, like they lead basically having to lead me into something. So I think about that a lot, like, especially I put here too, especially, and I know you probably feel this, and like I said, some folks who follow me know that I had a death in my family this week. And so when you're dealing with parental health, like, my mom is sickly now and I'm having to constantly, like, advocate for her, and then also, like,
Mm.
having to deal with death. Like, I'm sure you probably felt this with your dad. Now me having to deal with my mother-in-law, like, it's been a lot. So it's been a lot. So, you know.
I feel, I feel,
Mhm.
girl. Whew. Well, as we now consider our life choices because adulthood has failed us,
See,
we gotta take another break, y'all, and just rethink everything. When's the moment where the ghost of Christmas past comes into play, and I can go figure out a new future. I have questions for it, but
what is that movie with what's her name? Williams. She was a Christmas
Williams,
ghost.
Williams, Williams.
Oh God, I want to say her name is Michelle Williams, but I know it's wrong. She was a model and she was an ugly Betty. What's her name?
Vanessa
Vanessa
Williams.
Williams. That movie when she was the
Wait,
Christmas
she was a
girl.
ghost.
Yeah, and then she had those ghosts come back to oh, listeners, y'all got to tell me what that movie was called. I love that movie too. But she was basically she was a, what do you call that? A Scrooge. She was
Oh,
basically a
Scrooge.
Scrooge.
Okay, okay,
And
okay.
then the Christmas Ghost, it was Kathy Griffin and a few other people.
Oh, I
Tion,
live. Oh,
no, Chili from TLC was in the movie too.
oh, okay.
I'll find out the name of the movie on our break. But yeah,
Okay. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. Good to know. Well, I'll just say, y'all, we'll be back in a jiff of peanut butter. Okay, fam, we are black. And John, did you find the movie? You found the
I
movie good?
did. It's called
Okay.
A Diva's Christmas Carol,
A
and
Divas Christmas Carol.
it had Chili and it had Kathy Griffin in it, and she had that song called Heartquake in it. It was, yes.
Heartquake. A
Yes, we
Heartquake.
need to watch A Diva's Christmas
I
Carol.
live. Okay, I get to watch this. That sounds
Mhm.
good. Okay, well, as we close out, y'all, we're gonna end the traditional stuff with today's go love yourself a little fun. It's gonna be go love yourself wrapped. So as we close out our last episode 2024, prepared for 2025, we want to do our year wrap like how y'all be posting on Spotify, but make it silly and fun. Talk about our most telling rap metrics.
Mm,
So
mm,
I'll go
mhm.
first. John, we'll just go like one each, like one by one together.
Okay,
So
that's fine.
this year I spent 136 days wondering what to make for dinner, just to end up filled up with so much anxiety, just to end up filled with so much anxiety that I just DoorDash instead. And 37 of those days was just for Taco Bell.
Oh my God, Taco Bell. She comes through in a clutch every time, and
She really did.
it's ridiculous because the what?
Have you heard their Live Moss cafes?
Yes, and Jonathan had just
They,
mentioned that to me. There's one
they
in downtown Hollywood
Oh,
now.
okay, because they opened up the first one in San Diego, and I didn't know about
Uh-huh.
it. And I was
Mhm.
like, hold up,
Yeah,
what is this?
they're like cantinas or whatever, but basically they're supposed to be,
No, so
or
so,
are they
so,
different?
so they're different. So the cantina is where you get alcohol.
Oh,
So I think the Live Más Cafe is the only one that's currently around. It's
okay.
it's in San Diego. So the Live Más Cafe is where is basically them doing like coffee drinks and shit, like coffee drinks,
Oh,
and I was like,
see, you know what
hold
though?
up.
That's gonna feed into. Did you know where did someone had told me that story recently. Someone had said that the person who created Taco Bell stole their recipe from somebody who worked here in San Bernardino County or San Bernardino. And that's where Taco Bell was like born. The history of
What?
Taco Bell. Yeah, was a white
Oh,
man who stole the concept of a taco from a Latinx
of
place here
course,
in
of
San Bernardino.
course.
Uh-huh. And
Yeah,
I'm not surprised. Not surprised at all.
same.
Yeah, it opened in Chula Vista,
Mhm.
and I'm trying to get more info on it, trying to see what it is. Located in San Diego County, and what it says it's the first ever Taco Bell Live Mouse Cafe.
Mhm.
It's like a Taco Bell though. It's
So
almost
yeah, so it's made it's in an old Taco Bell that was there before, but now it's just
okay.
like cafe, and so it's supposed to talk about so like the but it's more focused on drinks as on food, and they have a drive-through
Okay,
still. But
Mexican
the whole
mocha,
point
vanilla.
is like these fast chains are trying to break into like the like coffee market,
Yeah, they're trying to
essentially.
do what Starbucks and that other one. What's the other one
The
called?
Starbucks, Dunkin', Dutch Bros, all that stuff.
And Dutch
But
Bros.
okay,
Yeah.
but apparently there's also a McDonald's version. It was like it was it's oh it's like I think it's called Cosmics, like COSMCS Cosmics. It's supposed to be like a similar thing, I guess. How they're I think in LA or something. I was like, oh, interesting. I mean, I would never go to Cosmics,
Yes, I saw.
but
You
I
know
was
what?
like,
They were trying AI
interesting.
with it, and then I remember seeing that, and then something went left, and they had to stop having they had to actually put people inside of one. I remember hearing about this. There was a whole to do. It was supposed to be like AI driven, and it was supposed to have like just people be able to go up to the thing and ask for it, and the machine would make the drinks and stuff for them. And then something happened, and they ended up having to like put people in it. But yes, I've heard of Cosmics, but I was not
Okay.
familiar with the Live Moss. Okay, but yes, to your point, like you, I have spent 180 days screaming. These niggas got me fucked up. So
Yes,
like
they
that has
do.
that
Yes,
has
they
literally been
do.
my rap for this year. It's like half of the days of this year, I have been screaming, "These niggas got me fucked up."
I
Yes. Mhm.
scream. Okay.
Mhm.
I spent 11,350 hours replaying arguments in my head to find out whether I was right or wrong. Let me tell
You were
you, I
right.
was always right.
You were right.
I was never
I
wrong. I
don't
was
even know
always
the
right.
arguments. She
I
was
was always
right.
right, period. Thank you.
I
Thank
still
you.
was right. I know you was right. A lot of the stuff that we talk about offline, you be in
Okay?
the
I
right
was like, I know I
about.
was right.
No, yes, you are right. Yes. I spent 5,000, 2,500, was it
5,000,
5,000? Yes,
2,500 minutes.
600 minutes looking for who some of y'all think y'all talking to. That's what I did. While you was looking for arguments, I was in my head being like, who do you think you talking to? So yes, that's me. You got any
I
more?
scream. I scream. This year, I spent 0 seconds being the right one for anybody. Bitch, I was the wrong one every single time. Do
You
not
know
play
what
with
that reminds
me.
me of? That bitch. Remember that lady who was crossing the street? Not the bitch, but the lady who was crossing the street that old boy ran up on his show, Billy in the Street.
Yeah.
Remember? She was like, "You got the wrong bitch on the right day." That's why I said that bitch, because she was ready. Mama was like, "I don't know who the fuck you playing with for a camera, but you got the right bitch on the wrong day." I was like,
Period.
"I know that's right. I ain't playing with
Period.
no white person either." Mama was done. I'm her. She was like, "I don't watch TV. I got kids. I got a life. I don't got time for none of
I
this
got a
bullshit."
lie.
It was so New York to me. I absolutely live for it. But yes, you are so right, and that's what that literally struck a chord in my head. I too door dashed 1,235 times and regretted 90% of those orders because they were never right. I you know what? We you know what? We're just gonna go ahead and fast forward to our next segment because I got some words for some of these ordering apps. So with that being said, we've taken at least 100 breaks this year. So y'all won't mind if we take one more. We will be black
Period.
shortly with y'all's favorite segment, Black in a Sec. Okay, y'all. So we are gonna go ahead and jump into our yes ma'am and our no ma'am Pam this week. And I just want to ask if the church will allow me to take some space to go ahead and get into some of
Yes,
mine,
gone, Nessa.
because I got I got a couple. I got
Let,
a
let,
couple.
let
Um,
me put my real reading glasses
You
on
got
for
to put
this
the
one.
real glasses
Real
on.
reading glasses
Chris,
on
put
this
on some
one.
church music, because you got to be able to see now, my honey, when you're speaking the word and the
Okay.
good good word, you got to be able to see. My God.
Period.
Yes,
Period.
yes. So I do want to take a quick moment. My yes, ma'am, this week. It's personal, but it's also just a reality to me. So I will be transparent and saying a lot of this year, and I know it's all in my head. I want to start with this, and I want to say that this I know it's all in my head. Um I've struggled a lot this year with feeling like I don't have close friends. And I know a lot of it, and I'll say it this, and I've talked about this on the mic and off the mic.
Mm,
My best, one of my really good best friends, one of my good Judies, we were friends for about 10 years. For those of you who don't know, some of you do, some of you don't.
mm,
My best friend passed away from COVID in 2022 at the top of
mm,
2020. Well, she passed in 2021. Her funeral was in 2022. And so since then, I've been struggling a lot with like the feeling of like, I don't have another Carla in my life. And so
mm,
this year has been really hard in a lot of different ways because I've hit a lot of highs, a lot of things that I talked to Carla about and her not being here to see it. And so it has triggered me in a lot of ways of feeling very alone in a lot of the quote unquote big things that I've been doing. Presenting at an award show was a big deal for me.
mm,
And Carla, I wasn't here to talk to her about it, like selling my book, all of these things. And so I say all of that to say, there were multiple points in this year where I felt very alone. And then, this week I was hit with losing someone very close to me and my home, me and my family. Um, and so, with that being said, give me just a second because I'm getting pinged and it's throwing off my thought process. I'm so sorry. Okay, let me reset. So, anyway, um, for those of you who don't know, I'm resetting here. For those of you who don't know, this week I lost someone very near and dear to me. My mother in law passed away suddenly. And I'm talking about it on the mic because I think it is imperative, one, for me to tell everybody, please hug and love on your people because we literally had just seen her. We had literally just made plans with her. And
mm,
then one day she was gone. And so it has been a very, very rocky week for both me and my husband, especially not just because of her passing, but also just the time of the year. And a lot of y'all reached out and showed me so much love. And DoorDash credits. A lot of y'all took care of me in ways that in moments when I genuinely didn't think me and my partner were going to be
mm,
able to just know what we were going to be able to do or to be able to figure out what we were going to do. Folks stepped in and said, "Hey, I got you." And so, with the thought of losing my mother-in-law, and I do want to take a quick sec to say, like, I know that there are people out there who are close to me and close to my husband who listen to the show. I loved her, not just because she was who she was.
mm,
And there were times that I did want to shake her and I did want to say, girl, I need you to do better. She was a white woman raised, in the South. So
mm,
do the math there, take it in
mm,
however you take it. There was a lot of shit she needed to unlearn, but I will say this, that she welcomed me and she loved me like her own child. And that made me love her even more. And I'm doing my best not to get emotional while talking about this. And
mm,
so um, she just loved me. And I loved her, and I can still feel her love around us. And so all of that to say that heightened my mind and my visibility and the way I see the world, and just being able to say, like, while Carla may not be here, I can still appreciate the closeness that I have with you, the closeness I have with my friends Quasum and my friend Heather. I wanted to shout them out because they listen to the show. Travell, all of their, Dr. James Simmons, Jiminica, like they're all of these people that I know who are in my corner. And it's like, just because I don't have that one quote unquote best friend, it doesn't mean that I don't have a surrounding um network. I'm trying. I'm in the midst of trying not to get super emotional and also trying to put my thoughts together. So give me a minute. Let me work through my thoughts. But I just also want to say, like, I think the biggest part in all of this is I really want people, as this is our last episode for the year, I never understood. Like, I heard people say, like, the holidays are tough because of this, that, and the other. And I've heard people mention that, the holidays are hard because they've lost their parent or they lost, a sister or whatever. I never knew that until this week. And so now I understand what a lot of people are saying. And even though it wasn't my mom, it was still my mom, if that makes sense. And
mm,
so I just wanted to like shout out in my yes ma'am this week. Like, I'm sending love to anybody who's struggling through the holidays, who is struggling through whether it be new grief like I am, or it being long-term grief that I feel like I'm rambling. I'm sorry. Um I just want to send so much love to anybody and everybody. But I also want to say, please go out there, share love with the people that you can. Take the moments. Like, I know it may be hard, because even I told my husband, I know it's going to be hard for us to get through Christmas this year. But I told him, I said, we have to do it, because if we let this moment stop us from being with his sister, or being with my brother, or being with my friends and family, or my friends and chosen family, then that could be a moment that we miss, if that makes sense. That could be a memory that we miss. And so
Yeah.
I'm just wanting to tell people, like, please make memories with
Mm,
people. Spend the time with those people, because I keep thinking about this. I keep saying, like, I remember and I think I mentioned this, my other side of my family, they do a Thanksgiving dinner, and they also do a Christmas dinner every year. And last week they did the Thanksgiving dinner, and I was almost at a point where I was like, I'm not going, because I also wasn't feeling well and I had a lot of
mm,
stuff to do. And I almost said, I'm not going to go. And then at the last minute, I just said, fuck it, I'm just going to go. And I went. It was a great time. I got to see one of my extended cousins' babies for the first time, and it was fun. We laughed, we ate, we had a good time, not only with his cousins, but also with my mom, my mother-in-law. And so I'm
yeah.
thinking to myself, if I would have not gone, shit, I wouldn't have had that memory with her,
Mm,
sitting at the table with her and laughing with her about my husband, and the 14 years and the things that she loved to just she shared the same stories over and over and over again, but that was because she loved us. And so I say that, like, for anybody who's having a hard time this during this season, please go be with your people. We're getting ready to go into a very dark time. We're in a dark time now, but we're getting ready to go into a dark time. And the last thing we need is to not have those memories. So I'm just going to leave it there and say that. So, all right. Um, that being said, I'll jump into my No Man Pams. I did not want to do this on the mic. I tried to get through this whole episode without getting emotional, because yes, it's still very raw. It's still very new. Um, but I definitely just want to say, like, I love that woman to death, even though that woman drove me up the wall sometimes. But yeah, she was a very beautiful person, and I'm happy that I have that memory with her. Okay, to my No Man Pams. I had said this. This is in tandem to what I just shared. I shared this in my stories last week, but I did want to say it on the mic for those who maybe don't have me on Instagram, or on social media. Um, People are dealing with a lot of shit, especially people who are grieving. So I've been very public. Oh, I haven't been as public as my husband about my grieving process, but some of folks who know me and are close to me know what happened and know what's going on. And I've had people hit me with, let me know if you need something. And I want to say this without folks getting offended. So please know that this is coming from a place of love and not a place of shade. When someone is grieving, it is never helpful to say, let me know if you need something, because, and I even learned this firsthand with working through this grief with my husband. A lot of times when people are grieving, they have no idea what they need. They have
mm,
no idea how to feel. They have no idea how they're going. Some of them
mm,
don't even know how they're going to keep their day going. And so, and I'm watching my husband go through all of this. And so I say all
mm,
of this to say, when you say, let me know if you need something, it feels very much self-serving than it is to help the person who is grieving. So what I
mm,
mean is, if you see someone who is actively grieving and you don't have anything to give them, right? And you're in a place where, like, financially, I can't do nothing. Simply just say, I send you my love, my condolences. If you want to talk about it, I'm here. Leave it at that, right? But saying, let me know if you need something, and not actively following up on that, it can be very, very empty. So if you can do something, I like to tell people, the one thing that people will always need when they're grieving is food. Even if they don't eat, they'll need food. So to the people who sent me food this week, you being one of them, Joe Hope, thank you. Other friends who sent me DoorDash credits or sent me DoorDash, food, right? I have friends who sent DoorDash food. Thank you. Like, me and my husband, there were, like, especially on Sunday when my husband couldn't get out of bed, that was one of the days where I was so thankful that folks sent a whole bunch of stuff for us to have, muffins, food, all of that. Like, we truly appreciate you just doing it. But yeah, it makes life a little bit easier. And I'll even say this, even if you got $10, send somebody a little bit of coin, because that's $10 less that they have to spend on an earn or celebration of life. Like, just do it. Don't even ask them if they need it. Just do it. And I can guarantee you, the person who is grieving or the person who's going through the hard time, they will appreciate it because they will know that it's coming from a place of love. So I just wanted to say that. Now, to get into just the bullshit that don't matter, my other No Man Pam this week, I am sick of these companies bastardizing food and cultures that aren't there. Where that comes from is I got boba I know this is my own fucking fault. I got boba from Jack in the Box because I just wanted to try it, and it was nasty. And I should have known. Played myself. I should have known better. But I'm also gonna throw this back on Jack in the Box. Leave it alone.
No, not the JB boba. No, not the J boba. No.
I was in a rush, and I just really wanted some boba and coffee, and I thought it would be a good idea. And I played myself. I was like, "Look at you, a clown." But also, I'm gonna need these, like, even with like Taco Bell and stuff. Like, leave these other cultures. We don't need your Chinese food. We don't want your boba. Like, we don't want it. Leave it where it belongs. Leave it to the Thai folks. They know what they're doing. We don't want it. Leave it alone. So I just want to say that. And then lastly, I just want to say these food delivery services, I'm gonna leave them nameless because hopefully one day we'll get a sponsorship. But I'm this close. I'm this close to losing it because I have ordered 3 things this week and they have all been wrong. All 3 of them. I don't know if it's the food service itself or if it's the people delivering it or the people making the food, but all 3 of them I'm ready to roundhouse kick. Okay, I'm done. I just had to get that off my chest. But I'm sick of these delivery services and the service you get with them. All right, go ahead.
Period. Wow. Okay. First of all, it's a lot there. First of all, I really hope John's mom's memory is a blessing for him and for you both. And know that I'm here for you still. And if you and I will send more food, girl. I'll send knives to shank hoes at the funeral if you need me to shank the funeral. Like, girl, I will send you all the things. And then I'll say, like, even like you saying, let me know if you think anything isn't helpful. Like, definitely taught me something. I was like, oh, I haven't thought of it that way. Like, I haven't thought of it that way of like, oh, like the point of decision making. So I really appreciate you saying that because that even gave me a moment to learn. Like, oh, like instead of asking what you just say, here, I'm gonna send you this and call that a good day. Because if you think about like when my dad passed away, I was at work and my boss literally was like, you have to eat the sandwich. And I was like, what? And I was like, bitch, my dad said I have to go. And she's like, you can't leave until she's like, you can't leave until I make you have to eat first. Yeah, let me make you a sandwich. And I was like, girl, what the fuck? I was like that, and I was like, that is so wild. Like, why? Like, did you not hear me? My dad just died. Like, I have to go.
I gotta go. I have to go. I know why she did that.
She made, and bitch, when I said that sandwich, the best sandwich in my life, I said, oh wow, okay, you were right. I actually really did that sandwich
because she knew that grief was gonna set in, and that your mind and your family's mind was gonna be going a mile a minute, and the last thing you think about is food, when you're in that situation is to eat. The last thing you think about is eating. So I understand why she was like, you need this sandwich because it's probably going to hold you for the next 10 to 12 hours.
No, for real. And like she made it herself too, which is something she not do. Like she wasn't a chef. She made it herself. And I was like, oh my God, it was really nice of her. She was a wild boss. She was really bad in many ways, but I was like, oh girl, she really shut up for me on that one.
I love that.
Girl, you played yourself on Jack in the Boba. I cannot stand you for that one. That is wild. Whew, I can't stand
a clown.
You. I am a clown. As you say, when you do clown things happen.
Shit happens.
My yes ma'am is just everyone who posted posted their Spotify rap. It's a yes and a no, but like a yes because y'all are bold to be posting some of the stuff. Like y'all don't need to post all these things. Like some of y'all
Ugh.
should be embarrassed, but some of
Yes.
y'all do. Some of y'all
Be
do put me
embarrassed.
on to some new artists, so I'm happy. I'm here for that. Someone's like, oh, I can tend to learn a few artists, but y'all wild with this one. And also Spotify, what was up? What was up with the graphic? Like someone called it.
AI. They used AI. Someone
Someone called
said,
it a Spotify rap pussy.
mhm,
I said, y'all are wild. That was wild. But I live. I live. No Man Pam inversely also said y'all Spotify rap because again you should be embarrassed by some of the things y'all posted, but like go off. I mean, if I posted about my if I posted my YouTube music recap, maybe I'd be embarrassed too. But I don't know. To me, I think it shows I have taste. I don't know if everyone else has taste. So that's just me. Also, okay, this is real talk, y'all. Y'all Luigi Mangione lovers, I cannot with y'all. I cannot with y'all. I just. I've been debating. I've been debating, but posting about this because part of me thinks it's wild. My therapist was like, everyone's processing their own way, and like and like everyone's had a hard year, and they're all just doing the best they came up with what they got. But like some of y'all are wild. Like some of
thirsty,
y'all
honey.
y'all trying to make this man's bail.
They
Y'all
are.
acting
They
like it
are.
still isn't a dude who came from wealth who killed like it's just I don't know it's just
He is
they're
a
the go ahead.
yeah. I was gonna say I see the fun of it, but I also feel like some of y'all are really serious.
Yeah. So that's okay. Like there's a space I hold for not feeling bad for what happened. Like
Right.
like I don't know, because like I see in a space of people make bad decisions and have to face the consequences,
Correct.
and also I wish death on nobody. Like I
Too.
wish death on nobody.
Mhm.
And like some people's responses is like, well well they enjoy our death, and I'm like, okay. Like first of all, like I really let me be clear. I will never support like I will never support like CEOs of anything.
The Rihanna of it
Like
all.
of
Yes,
anything.
let's
But
be
like
clear.
but like
Yes.
y'all like unfortunately there actually is a difference between people's negligence and
T.
people intentionally going to kill somebody. Like there's
Right.
actually different things. And I'm not saying that
Right.
negligence is right or correct, right? Like I'm not saying that the people who have died as a result of being denied claims is correct or right. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is like there's like you actually have to admit that there is a difference in thinking in this one. And like the idea of actually murdering someone is a bit wild. But like I personally could not support like in any way.
Right.
And let's be honest about this. You only ride this man because he's fine.
Let's talk
If he
about it.
was not fine, y'all want to say a
If he
goddamn
was
thing.
black, if he
If
was
he
black, let's
wouldn't
start
say
there.
a goddamn thing. Like
Yes.
y'all maybe would have said, "Go off, we appreciate you" from your jail cell. You would not
Right.
be saying, "We appreciate you and we'll help you post bail." Like
We want to free
y'all,
you.
some of y'all are
Yeah.
really serious about this, and that is really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And like the gays, I need y'all
The
to get
gays
together,
are
like because
trying to murder us. Hmm.
if this man was not white, if he was not quote unquote attractive, if he was a fat person, you have absolutely been like,
They would
that
have
was so
dismissed it
like
all. They would have
it's
dismissed
just
it
so
all.
bad. Like I really need
Yeah.
people to understand that. Like it's really discomforting. And again, like do I feel bad? Do I feel bad that someone had consequences of their actions? No. Do I feel bad that someone died? Yes. Right. Like, and it's the same thing. Like the same thing. People were going up. People like going
Hmm.
up, like and making jokes about the group of folks who got crushed at submarine. Again, like do it. Like I don't feel bad that people made dumb
Hmm.
decisions and bad things happen, but I don't. But I feel bad that people die. Like no one deserves to die
Right.
for it
Right.
either. Like
Right.
that's just like when we start wishing death on other people. That to me becomes a little bit like,
But
yikes.
you bring up a really good point, Joho. Like, I think that's the hard part about being an American in so many ways, is especially being a Black American. I'll say this. Let me be clear when I make this statement. Not just an American, a Black American, is knowing that so much in our country is all of it's contradictory. Like, there's so much contradiction, right? This notion of when we, and I say we collectively as a black people, when we do so, and I know I'll even say this in my group chats, I posted jokes because I was like, especially before we knew who he was, right? when I saw the photo initially, I was like, oh, he kind of cute, but still he a murderer, but he's still kind of cute. Oh, okay. I was like, not this cute. He being out here making bad decisions, right? But that was kind of where my conversation went. Like, oh, we got this cute ass person making terrible decisions. My God, like that's literally where it stopped for me. But then when I started seeing like all of the stuff of people like, oh, I'll free him, I could change him, I'll give him all of my money. I'm like, okay, y'all are doing a lot. And that was literally where the joke stopped for me. The joke stopped when I saw how, and I'll be transparent with how serious people are. Like for me, it was just a passing joke of like, damn, this really attractive person made a really fucked up decision. Well, he'll be going to jail for life. Bye. Like that's literally where it stopped for me. But there are people who are going up for this man. And I'm looking around and I'm going, y'all play too much. And that's the reason why y'all play too much in public. That's the other part too. I knew in my own heart of hearts I would never say or post any of that because I don't want the world knowing that it's just in poor taste. It's all poor taste. And I can go on for hours about the contradiction of being an American here, but you're right. It's just when you have and people laugh, but it's true. When you have pretty privilege and you live in a world where people idolize, that's really all it is. People idolize masculinity. It's like, what do you expect? They idolize whiteness. They idolize, masculinity, and it's just fucked up. It's just a really fucked up thing. So anyway, here we are. We're at the end of the year. This is our last episode for the year. Thank you everybody for listening. Thank you everybody this year who sent in, your thoughts, people who sent in love for the show, new followers. We've got a lot of new people listening. I've had so many people hit us and say, my cousin listens to the show and they told me to listen and now I listen. I had another friend tell me that she told her hairstylist to listen, and then the hairstylist hit me on social and said, oh my God, I didn't know I needed this show. So shout out to the new hairstylist girl who's listening, to our show. We're just very grateful. We are very grateful in all of the mess of 2024. We are very grateful to have the community around this show and to have the people that love this show. So yeah, so if you have, we will be doing, I'll say this, just kind of the rundown and doing kind of like a, what do you call that when you're doing kind of the last minute? Basically, we're going through the announcements at this point. Some announcements for the church. We are doing a best of episode next week. So after you hear this episode, the real true episode will be a best of Black Fat Femme for the year. If you have specific moments or shows that you'd like us to dive back into, if there are things that you want us to hit on, or if you have anything you want to add, for us to, add into our best of this year, please let us know. blackfatfempod@gmail.com. Our email is in the show notes. So feel free to go ahead and just click that and go ahead and send us a message. You can also send us your thoughts via Instagram and via Blue Sky. And we have a thread now. So also on Threads.
Yes.
You can use Black Fat Femme Pod as our handle. So with that being said, Queen Joho, where can the dolls find you in your off time?
In my off time, my loves, you will find me, of course, as always, at Joho Downs across all socials, including Blue Sky now. I've yet to post much at all, but here I am being on there.
I know that's right.
Maybe on any app. If you have an app that you think I might be on, Joho Downs is where you'll find me. If not there, you will find me. What's something witty to say? If not there, y'all, you will find me.
Look to the western sky.
Honestly, you'll find me hopefully at home. I'm tired of being in these streets. The streets, they miss me too much, but I need to stop missing them.
You are that girl that's always out and about. One thing about Joho, she gonna shake her booty so well. Mama is never home. Every time I look at your location, you are not at your place of residence.
Stop! Why am I paying rent? Why am I even doing this? Why am I here? Okay, but but I am typically around my place of residence, so it's not all bad. Like I'm typically just down the street, but
you're not home.
But it's not my fault. It's not my fault.
You're
The
not
music
home.
calls to me. The groove is in the heart, John. The music calls to me.
No.
You know, bitty, 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 bitty. I just have to do it. Ugh. But yes, hopefully I'll find me a home, sit my ass down because I'm tired.
I'm
And I
literally
did
gonna
not
start texting you.
pay
Go
for
home.
expensive ass couch, expensive ass rug to not be laying my ass on the floor on the couch
That
or on the
part.
couch chilling. Like
That
I'm not
part.
paying all these subscriptions for streaming things to not stream my shit. Okay.
Right. I know I
Ugh.
pay at least $150 a month in streaming
I'm saying
services. So
I'm not door dashing to not eat my food.
look, stay
Please,
home. Yes,
please.
yes. As for me and my household, you can visit my website, www.drjonpaul.com. I do want to say this. I finally have a publicist to help me with this book. And it's been fantastic because this
God.
person is helping me put together a book tour. We've already got one place
Yes,
locked
book
in. And so it's really
tour.
exciting to have somebody who's really doing the work to help make this book a success. So if you're interested in purchasing this book, please head over to drjonpaul.com. I have a book tab. Please click on whatever link works for you. Buy my book. I'm going to say this every episode until I hit my 1,000 pre-sales. Nigga needs to hit 1,000 pre-sales. We have only hit 100. Please buy my book. So that way, pre-sales, I keep telling you, pre-sales matter more than anything else in this process. So please make sure you buy my book. If you have not bought the book, buy it. If you have already bought the book, buy it for somebody else. Pre-order it, send it to your mama, your uncles, your aunties. Somebody will learn something out of this book. So please, please, please buy it. That also being said, I know at one point in our show I said to stop sending me treats, but with the way that this year has treated
Don't.
me, please do send Reese's, send donuts, send food, send water,
And the good
send. You know
stuff.
what you can send is Topo Chico, bitch. When I tell you, are you a sparkling water girl?
I've been known to dabble here and there in the sparkles of waters.
Man, my God, we should do a whole episode about what are the best sparkling waters. But Topo Chico, she takes the cake. I don't know what they put in that sparkling water. That TV static water is fantastic. It is absolutely good. So I'll say
That's
that if you want to
great.
send me something, honey, hit my DMs. I will send you my address and you can send me whatever you like for me to be able to get my life. But thank you. I appreciate it. You name it.
I
All right.
live.
And then also, we wanted to say, as we're closing this year, we have talked about this in the last few episodes. We've hinted at it, but we have not announced it. But I guess this is the perfect time to announce it since we're getting ready to go on hiatus and then we're coming back. We have decided collectively as a show, our producers, me, Joho, we've had several conversations about this. We are opening up our show to anyone and everyone who is adding to the mission of making Black queer experiences better. So I know when we started this show, we collectively said we want this to be a true space for just Black, fat, queer people. And I feel like I wouldn't say that I feel like that mission has been set because I feel like there are still more Black fat femmes that I really want to interview and I really want to have on the show. But I definitely think that there are people out here who are doing fantastic work. And even though they don't identify as Black, fat, or femme, they're doing stuff to help us advance our lives in certain ways. And I would love to talk with them about why their work and what they're doing is important to, or how they're even, I'll even say this, how they're even advancing the lives of other Latinx or, Asian or, queer Black, queer Black mixed people, right? Like all that to be said, there are people out here doing some really cool shit and we are limited. I wouldn't say we are. I think we have, how do I say this? I just feel like at this point in time in our life, it can't just be us. Like that's how I feel. I want this show to become a conversation of collective resistance. And I think it's going to be important for us to learn from Asian folks who are, organizing, for us to learn from Latinx or, queer Latinx folks who are organizing. Like it needs to be all of us. And I want this show to celebrate all of that. And so we will still have Black people here. We will still have Black fat femme people here. But I want to say that the doors to BFF are now open because I feel like we've had enough. I wouldn't say we've had enough. We've had a lot of people at the table. And there are more stories that I think that we need to share. So I'm excited to see where that goes. Did you have any thoughts on that before we close?
I was just gonna say that I think if we look at this through a lens of data and testing, right? Like we have demonstrated that our show is a viable show and it is an amazing show, and we have really lived out our values, committing to uplifting, so truly a catalog of Black fat femme stories. And so
127 of
and
them.
so this is just then like this is just the next iteration of it, to expand and say there are other folks who are also committed to our work too. Let's bring them in to talk with them as well too. So
Yeah.
let's basically we are still John and I are still two BFFs who are centering BFFs in our work. We're just gonna have we're just gonna have some more folks to talk with about the work and the joy, the challenges, and the victories, all together. And so I'm very excited. I'm very excited for who we'll have on the show. I think and listeners, I hope y'all listen and give us feedback of okay, this, I'm really happy with this. I'm really happy that y'all are doing this. I really send us folks you think we should talk to that are
Right.
doing very well.
Yes, please.
Build with us. We want to do this together.
That's the word. That's
Yeah.
the word. Build. I feel like we're in a place now where it's like we have to build. Like I want to bring folks. We've brought you a lot of Black fat femmes who are doing great work, but I feel like now we need to build a larger network, and I feel like
Yes.
we're building on what we've already built. And so and again too, if folks who have listened to the show and you feel like we don't want other people in this space, and it has nothing to do about commercialism. It has everything to do, in my mind, and we'll be and again, we're going to be very, very, very specific about who we bring on, and very intentional about who we bring on. We're not just bringing on names to bring on names. We've had big names on the show. We don't need names at this point. We've had names on the show. But I think for us, we're just at a place now where we've been doing the show for almost 3 years, and it's like, okay, it's time to build. And so we really truly want to bring in more voices and more experiences to build on to the work and the foundation that we've led and that we've laid. So 2025 for Black Fat Femme is about growth, and I think part of that growth is bringing other voices who have helped us grow into the fold. So just wanted to kind of make that as kind of our last statement of the year, just saying thank you to everybody, Black, white, queer, Latinx, mixed, alien. If there are aliens listening out there, girl, we have been calling on you. Thank you for listening. But also, can you please find us to beam us up? But anybody, if you're anybody, your cats, your dogs, if your dogs are listening to the show and they like the show, thank you for listening, girl. But with that being said, we're just very grateful for the community that we've built around this show, and we're really excited to expand it and build it. All right. Well, with that being said, that's it. This is the last show of the year. We'll see you in 2025. We want to thank our producer, Bay Wang, for handling all the logistics this year of the show. Mama has kept us locked and loaded and going and moving. And, well, I think their pronouns are they, so let me go back. They have been so helpful in keeping us going. So, Bay, we thank you. We lift your name. We truly speak so much love into you and for just what you do for the Black Fat Femme show. We also want to shout out our editor, Chris Rogers. Chris, you have done an amazing job of creating some historical content. I don't think you recognize how influential you have been to our growth and to the development of this show. And I'm excited for year 3. I'm excited for all of the things that we're getting ready to do and the other blessings that are going to come our way. So with that being said, thank you, Chris, for doing all of the editing. We would not have a show without you, and we're so grateful that you're here. That's been a show.
And happy holidays to everybody as well too.
Happy holidays.
More Christmas, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, and all the holidays that also aren't even in December are outside of it. Holidays at this time as well too.
Amen.
All the ho-ho-hos in between.
Yes, all the ho-ho-hos, because I'm about to eat me a ho-ho. How you doing? Some chocolate, girl. Some chocolate, girl. This has been another show. Stay Black, fat, femme, and fabulous. And remember what? We may not be your cup of tea, but drink some water because you probably need it anyway. I love us for real. See you in 2025. Bye.